Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Chinenye Moye and my sign language interpreter is John Bamidele. First, let's bring you the headlines. World Trade Organization's Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala insists on her call to countries not to panic in the face of trade wars triggered by United States tariffs. South Korean court cancelled the country's President Yoon Suk-yeol's arrest warrant, paving way for his release from jail after he was detained for imposing martial law. And train services from Paris to some major cities in Europe grounded following the discovery of a World War II bomb on tracks. Many thanks for joining us. The World Trade Organization's Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on Friday insists on her call to countries not to panic in the face of the trade wars triggered by United States tariffs. The Director General asserted that the system is not in chaos, reiterating to a panel discussion alongside former German Chancellor Angela Merkel of the need for the global community to remember that there is 80% of world trade going on among other members of the WTO.
It's very, very important for world trade and, of course, sets a signal. The rest of the world also trade. Remember, trade is not that big a part of the US GDP, about 26%. For other countries and other members, you have 50. Germany is in the 70s. Singapore, 300%. So many of the members, over 100%, meaning that trade is vital. So we shouldn't forget that. They are members who are trading with each other, and they should continue to do so. And we shouldn't panic because there are certain disruptions, let's call them that are ongoing.
And thousands of passengers in Paris and London were stranded Friday after the discovery of a World War II bomb on tracks leading to the Gare du Nord station halted traffic at France's busiest railway terminus. Chukwunonso Nwabweze reports.
The unexploded bomb was found in the middle of the tracks, about 2.5 kilometers from the station, overnight during maintenance work carried out in the northern Paris suburb of Saint-Denis, the national SNCF rail company said. The Gare du Nord station lies in the north of the French capital and is the country's busiest train hub, hosting the Eurostar trains in addition to regional and suburban service, and sees some 700,000 passengers daily. Transport Minister Philippe Tabelot, alongside Matthew Chabanel, CEO of French Railway Network Operator, SNCF, during a press briefing expressed hope for the service to resume by the end of the day. Eurostar cancelled all its trains leaving from or heading to Paris, affecting the routes to London and Brussels. However, its services from London to Brussels and London to Amsterdam, which does not pass through Paris, ran normally. In London, crowds gathered at St. Pancras railway station after Eurostar trains were cancelled. Passengers were advised to go to the northern French city of Lille or travel by plane. All traffic to the train station, which serves international, high-speed and local connections, were halted as police worked to disable the device. This is not the first time that the discovery of a World War II bomb paralyzed rail traffic in the French capital. In 2019, the discovery of a wartime bomb interrupted traffic between the Saint-Lazare station and the western suburbs in Paris. Chukwunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
Kenyan President William Ruto on Friday signed a political cooperation deal with his former arch-rival and veteran politician Raila Odinga, formalizing what has been termed as a broad-based government. Under the agreement, Ruto's United Democratic Alliance, UDA, and Odinga's Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, outlined a framework for collaboration between Kenya's two largest political parties.
This memorandum of understanding is not about sharing positions or winning elections. It is about the people and the interests of Kenya. That is what is significant. To me, the interests of this great nation. We have talked about Kenya of potential for far too long. It is now time that we close ranks as leaders, because this nation can succeed.
A South Korean court has cancelled the impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol's arrest warrant, paving way for his release from jail after he was detained for imposing martial law. The suspended president filed a request with the Seoul Central District Court last month, pleading that the arrest warrant issued against him was illegal. Chukunonso Mwabueze reports.
The court ruled that it is reasonable to conclude that the indictment was filed after the defendant's detention period had expired. To ensure procedural clarity and eliminate any doubts regarding the legality of the investigative process, the court on Friday held that it would be appropriate to issue a decision cancelling the detention. Yoon's lawyers and his presidential office welcomed the district court's decision, saying it showed the case against him had been pursued for political purposes with no legal justification. They added that the cancellation of his arrest does not necessarily mean he will be released straight away. He heard that the defendant will be released only if the prosecutor waives the right to appeal or does not file an appeal within the prescribed period. The opposition Democratic Party slammed the court's decision, calling on the prosecution to appeal immediately to ensure a ruling that aligns with the public sense of justice. The suspended president was arrested in mid-January on insurrection charges over his brief imposition of martial law and has been held for just over 50 days in a detention facility south of Seoul. Investigators have alleged that Yoon's martial law decree amounted to rebellion. If he is convicted of that offense, he would face the death penalty or life imprisonment. Yoon's lawyers had argued that the arrest warrant issued on January 19 that has kept him in detention was invalid because the request filed by prosecutors was without due process. Yoon, 64, who also faces a separate criminal trial, became the first sitting South Korean president to be arrested on criminal charges on January 15th. Chukunonso Mwabueze, NTA News.
Nigeria remains a strategic partner to any country desirous to join its transformative journey towards prosperity. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohamed Idris, singled out France as an improvement partner to Nigeria when he granted audience to the France ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Marc Fombastia. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports on the minister's engagements.
In performing its strategic role as the custodian of the renewed hope agenda, many equally acknowledged the ministry's role as pivotal as the gateway in achieving the transformative agenda. The familiarization visit by the French ambassador to Nigeria to this strategic ministry provided an opportunity to refresh minds on how to ensure speedy follow-up and implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding between France and Nigeria during President Tinubu's state visit to France.
The two presidents have set up together an ambitious roadmap so that we can scale up the partnership. And in that regard, communication, information is a core issue, where France can provide, hopefully, some support, some capabilities, some know-how.
That Nigeria is indeed very serious about all those MOUs that were signed. And we will ensure that all of them are executed to the letter. Also, thank you for extending this invitation to the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, and to me particularly, to participate in the Nigerian Business Forum that is going to happen on the 10th of April 2025 in Paris. We will use that platform also to extend the best wishes of the Nigerian people and Nigerian government, but also to take the message of consolidation that the President is desirous for us to give in this year. This year, 2025, is the year of economic and social consolidation of the Nigerian nation, as promised by Mr. President. And our economy, as we have heard severally, is already beginning to turn the corner.
Meanwhile, the minister also played host to leaders of the All Progressives Congress 11th year anniversary and 2nd year anniversary committee. Here, the government spokesperson acknowledged that political party activities should be a collective one and not for those occupying public offices alone, especially now that the government of renewed hope is working towards enduring economic prosperity.
So much has happened in the last 11 years. Of course, there are a lot of ups and downs, as you can find with every political arrangement and with every reformist administration. I know that reforms are not easy anywhere. And for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have taken this challenge of reform, he could easily have taken the easy way out, but he chose not to. He chose to take the difficult but more assured way of bringing Nigeria back on the foot of sustainable prosperity.
But I believe President Bola Tinubu is doing his best and will continue to support him. That's why we wanted to come in and enlighten Nigerians on his achievement for 2 years.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Amid growing uncertainties in the global energy market threatened by increasing tariffs, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, says the federal government will consider funding from the capital market, among other sources, for the 2025 budget. This was at his investiture as a fellow of Capital Market Academics of Nigeria in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
Oil prices are set to close the week with a 4% weekly decline as uncertainty surrounding U.S. tariff policies raise concern over demand growth, while major producers prepare to increase output. This is a concern for the Nigerian government, as current oil benchmark is selling below $70 per barrel at the time the 2025 budget is based on the crude oil output benchmark of $75 per barrel, with an expected oil production of 2.06 million barrels per day. This is in addition to a revenue target of 36.35 trillion naira, representing a 56% coming from oil sales. Hence the need to explore other revenue sources to fund growth.
But we need capital. To have capital, we need to mobilize it. We need to convince our citizenry, because like I said, even if you get people with capital out there and you don't have vehicles that can absorb it, we need to orient our society that what tax revenue cannot fund, capital market can fund. But we must be willing to acknowledge that capital market also has its own demands, user charges, toll gates, and periodic payments that reward, but it can be done.
In terms of budget preparation, can also be organizing a symposium. You can have a budget symposium annually, shortly before the presentation of the NTA. That budget symposium can be with the academia, where you get feedbacks from perspective of the academia regarding budget preparation. So if you organize on an annual basis.
The minister admonished the capital market academics to embark on research that will provide practical ways of marketing Nigeria's investment potential. President of the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria, Professor Uche Uwalike, alongside the leadership, conferred on the minister fellowship of the Capital Market Academics. He now joins the think tank of Nigeria's economy and is expected to deliver an inaugural lecture soon. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a break here. There will be more reports when we return. This day.
Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and Voice of Nigeria, VON, cordially invite the general public to its 19th annual Ramadan lecture. Topic: Faith, Politics and Power, the involvement of ulama in politics and its implications. Guest lecturer, Sheikh Maruf Onike Abdulaziz, Chief Missioner, NASFAT Worldwide. Chairman of the occasion, Idi Mukhtar Meha, Minister of Livestock Development. Special guest of honor, Muhammad Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation. Royal Father of the Day, His Highness Mala Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, Emir of Zazzau. Chief host, His Excellency Malam Ubasani, the Executive Governor, Kaduna State. Host, Malam Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, NTA. Dr. Muhammad Bulama, Director General, FRCN. Malam Jibril Babandachi, Director General, Voice of Nigeria. Venue, Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Close, off Jabi Road East, off Sultan Road, Kaduna. Date, 8 March 2025. Time, 9 a.m. Inshallah. For partnership or advert placement. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Many thanks for staying on. The Nigerian Immigration Service is training its personnel on the newly introduced e-visa process, a system designed to enhance efficiency. Comptroller General of Immigration, Kemi Nadab, says the initiative will streamline visa processing and improve service delivery.
This is a departure from what we had initially to enhance our efficiency and to make sure that we improve, of course, on our processes, the transparency and the strength of what we do.
Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, the 162 officers undergoing the training have a crucial role to balance economic openness with national security.
We want to be able to open our borders for economic participation, for tourism, and for all short stay visas. Let's open our borders, let's allow people to come, but let's not do that by compromising national security.
The training aims to equip officers with the skills needed to implement the new system effectively, and authorities say the e-visa process is part of broader reforms to modernize countries' immigration services. The Nigerian Air Force will continue to place premium on personnel welfare by investing in decent housing and enabling environments where personnel thrive to further strengthen the foundation for enhanced proficiency and unwavering professionalism in service to the nation. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, affirmed this while inaugurating remodeled accommodation for married personnel and transit quarters at the 053 headquarters, NAV camp at Garoki, Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
Over the past 20 months, we have initiated over 340 infrastructural projects, out of which 195 have been completed and 145 at various stages of completion.
A comfortable home is more than just shelter, but a sanctuary that nurtures peace of mind, allowing personnel to focus fully on duty and excel in tasks and missions. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, reaffirming his commitment to reducing the Nigerian Air Force housing deficit through developmental projects across NAV bases in the country.
Our goal is to reduce this deficit by 50% by the end of this year. I therefore encourage all personnel to leverage these facilities, contribute innovative ideas that will enhance air power and promote self-reliance in line with global advancements.
The Air Chief attributed all the developmental strides to President Bola Tinubu's unwavering commitment and provision for the armed forces and the NAF in particular. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Inclusive governance, equitable policy reforms, and strategic collaborations to advance women's rights and participation in decision-making processes took center stage during a ceremonial session to commemorate the International Women's Day. Amina Seidu reports that it was organized by the Office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives and Gender Mobile Initiative.
The Women's Policy Action Lab serves as a platform to empower women and drive discussions on fostering accountability in shaping policies leading to tangible reforms.
Indeed, Nigerian women have been a driving force in our social and economic growth. They serve as leaders in diverse industries, from agriculture and technology to healthcare and academia. Still, there remains a pressing need to address specific challenges, such as unequal access to education, financial resources, and political representation.
Today is a time for reflection, action, and solidarity. It's a day to acknowledge the incredible contributions that women make to our communities, economies, and societies at large. It is also a reminder of the work that still lies ahead as we strive for a world where every woman and girl has the opportunity to thrive.
When young women engage in shaping policies that directly impact their lives, the legislative process becomes more democratic, inclusive, and truly representative.
Cluster groups of young women made presentations on issues of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, Child's Rights Act, and Nigerian gender policy, among others, with recommendations for amendments of certain acts. Awards were presented to the winning cluster groups and other organizations who have made significant strides in advocating women's rights and promoting gender equity in various sectors. A special tribute was also given to the late Chief Whip Adewumi Onanuga in recognition of her service to the nation. From the National Assembly, Amina Seidu, NTA News.
The Senate is working with relevant stakeholders to have in place legislations that would remove barriers for women participation in Parliament and other arms of government. This position was amplified at a special event organized by the Senate leadership to mark this year's International Women's Day. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Minister of Women Affairs was among dignitaries at the event.
The presence of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, flanked by his deputy, Barrow Jibrin, and the Senate leader, Kweyemi Bamidele, the women said, is a testament that they are he-for-she advocates, and also appreciated the role of the National Assembly in the 1,000% increase of budgetary allocation to the Women Affairs Ministry for 2025.
In Nigeria, we have over 10 MDs of banks that are women. No country can boast of that. And looking at the progress of women encourages us to do more. So I like to see things positively. We've done so well and will continue to intensify effort to ensure that those seats we're looking for do happen.
Akpabio informed the gathering that the legislature is taking steps to expedite action on all gender parity issues, starting with the 35% affirmative action.
I don't want to vote for a woman. Am I the one that will force the woman to go? But we have a solution. We have a solution. I've traveled around. I've seen what is happening in Tanzania. I've seen what is happening in South Africa, Malawi, and so many other countries. They have a certain percentage constitutionally reserved for women. We are discussing that in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If it means tinkering with the act, the Electoral Act, to enable women to have solid say in the parliament, we will do so.
The National Assembly reassures that gender equality is a priority in the ongoing constitution review process. At another fora, the Senate Committee on Science and Technology engaged stakeholders in continuation of the legislative process to amend the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act. This is to ensure processing of raw materials in Nigeria before export.
We will reduce dependence on foreign exchange because every raw material that is in Nigeria must be utilized in Nigeria.
We must ask ourselves, do we continue on this trajectory of economic servitude, or do we take bold and decisive steps towards reclaiming our industrial sovereignty?
The Director General of the Council believes the legislation will stop exportation of wealth and jobs to other countries. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has adjourned to May 8th and 9th to deliver a ruling on whether former Governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, can tender a judgment of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in his ongoing trial before the trial court. The evidence in question is a judgment in a suit between Alim Bello and the Incorporated Trustees of American International School, which decided on the issue of payment of school fees or refund in trial instituted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, against the former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, for alleged money laundering. Counsel to the former governor, Joseph Daudu, SAN, before proceeding on cross-examination of the EFCC's third witness, Nicholas Ohehomon. A staff of the American International School, Abuja, seeks to tender the verdict before the court. However, prosecution counsel Kemi Pinheiro, SAN, objected to the move, arguing that the defense cannot tender the document at a time the prosecution is still proving its case. After listening to both parties on the admissibility or otherwise of the document, the presiding judge, Justice Emeka Nwite, adjourned the case to the 8th and 9th of May for ruling on the matter and continuation of trial.